What's up, guys? Welcome. Another draft day. This is the second to the last FBW draft. We have and commish is just coming in. We are rounding out the first round. Commish,
Yes.
welcome back. This is Commish's first pick. Am I
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
So I think it's just right that we record it. LaMelo goes, what's this? 12th round. LaMelo could be out for a while. There was no timetable given, but it was interesting to see where he lands. And he lands 12. A little drop from his previous. He usually goes within the top 10. Drops a few spots, but nothing surprising in the first round. So, Komesh, what's your strategy for a Jokic build?
It can go any which way you want with Jokic. So, I think best whoever falls to me, except if it's Ja Morant. I'm not gonna pair Jokic with Morant, but we talked about Siakam, we talked about Garland. I wish any of these players can fall. Gobert, of course, is also another player that I would like here in the next round. So maybe try to improve. As you said, you mentioned something in the previous draft about someone getting who's that guy?
Jarrett Allen.
Garland and Jarrett Allen.
Yeah.
Yes, to improve. Although I found Jarrett Allen too early. Yeah, it improves his rebounding, but at 29, I assume he's got the first pick in the 28, 29, 28 and 29. 29 is too high for me for Allen. I would not be reaching that high for him. So, I mean, if it's Gobert, it's a better version, I guess. If I can get Gobert and let's say Garland also. So that's a good combo because Garland improves your assists, solidifies your assists, and then of course Allen was supposed to solidify the rebounding.
Yeah.
Which Gobert can also do. Yeah.
But usually Gobert doesn't really get to that 28, 29.
Yes,
Rarely he does.
Usually he doesn't. One thing interesting here is Luka went third, no, in this draft. So that's one surprise there. Aside from that, I think the others, basically the same. Curry also went a little high, 6. Towns went high also. Durant was the one who fell, which is very good value for Oliver's team, who got him at 8. So that's very good value. You talked about LaMelo.
Yeah.
So yeah, at 12, I guess that's okay. We don't know how long he's gonna miss, but I assume maybe 2 weeks of the season or 3 weeks of the season you're not gonna have him.
Yeah, that's a big blow. Those who picked him
Yes.
first. So hopefully you were able to build well around him. It doesn't mean that you lose your first round pick. It's you're automatically gonna lose the first 2 weeks, right? While he's out.
Yeah, and that's interesting to see where he, what kind of discount you would get for him. No,
Yeah.
we can talk about the injury a little bit here. It's a grade 2 sprain, so similar to what Jag had last year. A little partial tear. That means there's a partial tear. So, on average, 7 games, 19 days are the average miss time for NBA players. But we really don't know how LaMelo would react to this injury and what Charlotte's motivation is. If they're, gonna start the season slow, which is possible, they might take it slow for him and just try to get early in the Wemby sweepstakes. So that's very scary. That's very scary for a LaMelo owner.
Yeah, but I think the one thing that's that's going on for LaMelo here on why he's still being picked there in the first round is because, like we said, in past drafts, even early on, there's really no better options there later on in the draft, right? I mean,
Yeah. So
uh,
Naveen's here. Naveen's here.
Naveen's here. We've got some Naveen's here.
Reginald is also here.
Reginald's
Yes.
here. Rock
I think
is
Rock
here.
is here also. Yes.
Yeah, Rock
So
is
these are
here.
very, very seasoned. Reginald, I think, has 20 something leagues this year, or even more.
Actually, this group is probably the most seasoned group.
Yeah.
Vibes, which is Frank, is also up here. He was the champion in one of the leagues last year. So these are very seasoned players already.
Maybe we can talk also about risers and fallers this preseason, since we're doing this, so to make it something different, no? We go through it as the draft goes along, risers and fallers. We talked about LaMelo falling. In general, we're not talking about this draft only. In general, LaMelo falling down. That is to be expected. We're not talking about ADP either. We're just seeing, which players are hot.
Moving up,
Moving up because of the preseason. And Anthony Edwards is one. No, Anthony Edwards, I think
actually, surprisingly, he hasn't been picked here.
Yes. I was just gonna say, surprisingly, he's still here, but he's had a great preseason. So I think he's rising in my own draft board. He's going up.
Another player rising is I posted it in our Twitter account. Kawhi has been rising a bit. He used to be picked around the 4th round or late 3rd round. Now he's moving up sometimes to the 2nd round. Someone's taking some chances on him. Zion obviously is moving up. Also, rightfully so, because he's had pretty decent off-season, in preseason games. He has been moving up. Who else did I post there? I think the rookie, Jabari. For the rookies, Jabari Smith has been moving up. He's been moving to the 70th something picks. Early on, I mean, this is from the early on, right? He was really out of, not really within that radar. Usually Banquero's being picked ahead of him. Now, seems like Jabari's being picked ahead of Banquero. So, MPJ has moved up a bit, just a bit. I think he's being picked at the 60s, 70s now, compared to the ones earlier where we picked him at the 90s.
Yeah, but we can talk about some of those players you mentioned. And in relation to the preseason and the news so far, you mentioned Jabari. I think Jabari has had he's injured, by the way. He's injured, but he's rising because of the hype that a lot of experts are giving him. We're not experts, but we also give him a lot of hype because I really like him. I really like him a lot. And he's ranked too low in Yahoo. So I think people are, they got Siakam. I was gonna hope Siakam falls to me. So before I continue, let's look at what we can do here. All the bigs that I want are gone. I understand why the Jarrett Allen owner picked Allen here, because of course you're not gonna get him back. And at your next pick, not much good big. So I should get, I can follow what happened in your draft and pick Garland and Allen. But let me see. It's tough. This is 28. Let's try Garland for the first one. And then who's the other one? Butch is a little high, but Butch is okay. I like Butch also. So let's take Garland first to improve the assist. And then maybe Miles is also tempting. DeRozan is also tempting. But I need a big guy, so let's try Vooch. Free throws are solid, I think. So, I don't know. What do you think of that? JJT still there? You're muted. You're muted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed out. I thought I unmuted. I think Vooch is okay. Not really too high, but he goes within this round. But like you said, it's going to be difficult to get another big if you wait.
Yeah.
So yeah, and
I agree.
we were just talking about Zion. Zion is
Zion
here
Zion has
early.
looked good, but I think 30 is too high for my taste. The risk is just still there. It's still there. But he's rising. As I said, he's another player who looked slim. The problem is in the preseason, his free throws are still shaky. He
Bad.
was 3 out of 12.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful with that. But yes, he's moving up. Jabari, again, we mentioned him. So he's also looking good the preseason. Another player, as we scan down this list that I would want to mention is Terry Rozier.
Yeah.
With Lamelo out, I think Rozier would get a lot of ball handling opportunities. So I think Rozier could be not could be will be a beneficiary, and I think he's rising. He has so far has been great in the preseason also. So I like Rozier. He's moving up. He's moving up
And
the
let's see where he moves here in this draft,
yes.
in particular, because this is the first draft since Lamelo was injured. So he might be gone in this round, which is the third round, because he usually goes around the fourth or
Yes.
early fifth. So let's see. Uh,
Another player who looks good in the preseason is Jalen Brown, by the way. He's been outplaying Tatum so far in the preseason. Scoring has been top scoring for Boston. He he can have a big season, especially after he was almost traded. He was in the rumors. I think he's motivated. He wants to show that, he deserves to be respected by the Celtics ownership. So I think Jalen has also been looking good. Yeah.
yeah.
We can
So Donovan also picked right now. I think another player, I think Garland and Donovan has slowly moved up as well. Because of the way probably teams have already or managers have already seen the dynamics between them, and I could say Dejounte has been a
yes.
hotter commodity these days compared
Yes.
to the early part of the season.
He has only played one game. He got shut down because of back spasm, so there's that risk. But that game he was really good, so that helped
And that
allay
game,
some fears.
in that
Yeah.
game, both Trey and him played. So
Yes. So that helped allay some fears there, here and there, that there would be some problems in there, or some hit. There will be hits, but what Murray did there, I forgot if it's 28-9, something, 28 rebounds, 9 assists, something like that, and then a couple of steals. So it was similar to the Spurs numbers.
yeah.
We don't expect that to be everyday thing, but still that was good. That was good to see. And
Uh,
then yeah.
Another player we might that would be interesting here would be Kristaps, who
Mm,
also I
it's
think
injured.
sprained his ankle
Yeah.
in the last preseason game. So let's see where he goes. Kawhi now being picked 36th, uh, which was not really high, but I think this is higher than his previous draft positions. Mobley has been moving up a bit. I don't know why, but a lot of managers like Mobley. He's being picked here in the third round. This time he got picked by Reginald, who now he's picked ahead of Scotty Barnes, at least in this draft.
But Reginald is forming a team of he got Gobert in round 2, now Mobley, so I think he's punting free throws. Reginald is a manager who punts. He goes through a good strategy. So as I said, all of these managers are very good managers, very experienced managers. So Reginald is clearly going for that build, and that's why I can justify getting Mobley higher than where we usually would be more comfortable getting him, which is round 4.
Yeah.
I'm still round 4 guy for Mobley. I think he's better suited there. Talking about a little bit about slow starts. Cade Cunningham has been kind of bad in the preseason so far.
No, I think today he
I
had
don't
a
have
better game.
That's already the better game. I don't have the exact numbers, but I'm pretty sure he's not shooting 30%, not shooting 40%. He's below 40% from the field. He has not scored in double figures. He has scored in double figures only once, maybe. The assists have not been there. He's been getting 20, 22 minutes, so it's not really that low. So that's something to consider because last year he started slow after the injury. When he came back from the injury, he started slow before he picked it up late. So if that's gonna be what's gonna happen, there could be some buy low situation for panicking owners, but he's a little bit cold at this point. So he's if there's a risers, he's in the falling
Yeah.
category. Yes.
Rozier, we talked about, like I said,
Yes.
he could be picked in this round, and he was indeed picked in this round. 36th. That's probably the highest I've seen him get picked. He's usually there in the late third to early fourth round. So yeah, riser here is Rozier. Let's talk a bit about the falling guys falling from the draft. Who do we
So
have?
so so maybe we talk about it as we did before per segment. We talked about some risers already, some fallers in this early segment of the draft. Um, let's see. Of course, Middleton, the injured guys, I think have continued to be falling.
Yeah,
They continue to fall. And
Butler.
OG
Butler
is
is
another
another
guy.
guy.
Yeah, Butler. He's not played in the preseason at all. Jimmy Butler has not played in any preseason game, so
Is that
that hasn't helped.
a uh sign of things to
We don't know that, but we know for sure he's not gonna play all preseason games. But he has not played any, which is weird. But Miami, they do things differently.
yeah.
So I don't think that's anything. And they haven't played Bam a lot. They haven't played Lowry at all. So they're just resting the guys and they're just playing, their second fives. So there's nothing for me. But I think of course, we know he's gonna have load management issues. So yeah, he's falling in my eyes. Another player who's falling.
But
He
given that he was picked 38 here, is that okay? I've seen him like in one of my drafts he fell to 45, and I just
Yeah,
couldn't
38 is
resist.
already low. 38 is already low. For me, I mean 38 is low. It's Jimmy Butler. So I think that's already value. It's already value there at 38.
Yeah.
Anytime he goes past 32, 33, maybe for me that's low already. Yeah. Desmond Bain was picked 44th. He's another riser. He played very well today. He played very well. And I don't know why people are worried about Dillon Brooks being healthy. The fact is, after Ja and Dillon Brooks, they have Santi Aldama, they have Steven Adams, they have Brandon Clark. These are not scorers.
Yeah.
So they would really need Bain to
No,
really do a lot.
I think Bain is the number 2 guy behind Ja.
Yeah, clearly number 2 guy.
So I think he should be solid.
Mm-hmm.
And you talked about Jalen Brown a while ago. So you feel Bain still over Jalen Brown?
I think Bain. Yeah, I still feel Bain. Not only because of his role, what I feel his role is, fantasy wise. We're talking fantasy wise.
Yeah.
Jalen's free throw is a little draggy for me at 76% for a supposed a wing guy. That's a little low. That is my biggest problem with Jalen. Aside from the injury, of course, he's a injury risk. He's always been injury risk. So that is a problem for me. That's why I give it to Bain. Bain is more efficient. That's why Eric Ong really loves him. In every draft I've seen Eric Ong, he's always been picking Bain. Even way
Eric picks
early.
his draft, and speaking of Eric, tomorrow he'll be with us in our
Yes.
Champions League draft. So yeah, we did mention another riser has been Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
Slowly moving up. I mean, he started off at around the 70s, then he moved up to around I think he started off at around late 70s, and then he's been moving up to around the 60s. Today, this is unusually high because he's usually being picked the early 60s already. This is 50th by Reginald again. Zach Levine has been falling. Another
Yeah.
guy's been falling.
And I guess you can see my screen, right? I queued Josh Kiddie.
Yeah.
He has been terrific in the preseason, super terrific, and I don't know if he can continue to do this when SGA comes back or not. But yeah, he's another riser. He's clearly a riser in my book. And one thing I've loved is he's been able to shoot the ball
Yeah.
better,
Decently.
decently. Of course, we
He's
know that
got a shooting coach.
shooting coach. Yes. They have a shooting coach.
One
The
of the
Thunder
best
have.
though. One of the best around the
Isn't
NBA.
isn't
Chip.
it
Chip.
Chip?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chip
Chip
Engeland.
Engelland. Yeah, we Filipinos, we know him a lot because he's our naturalized player before the national team. So yeah, we can see already the work. Just improve. At the start of this draft process, I was down on Giddy being picked 50 something, 60 something. I said that's too high. I mean, look at his turnovers, look at the inefficiencies. What can he do? Free throw 72%, 44%, doesn't steal the ball much, etc., etc. But so far he's proven me wrong. You have to adjust. As you can see that he's shooting the ball well, so he's improved. So you adjust him, you adjust also and try to calibrate your draft boards given the new info you can see.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
Giddy,
posted this, I tweeted this morning about Giddy and how I'm slowly loving having him in some of my teams, and seeing the preseason games. And of course, the tanking issue has been brought up once again, for the OKC Thunder. So, should we be worried about tanking? Personally, everyone, there's really nothing, no guarantees about anything. I mean, even if you worry too much about tanking, there will be times wherein you think players or teams won't load manage this guy and then suddenly gets load managed. So I think at this point he's a good fantasy option. Early on, he'll help you. And I'm sure Commish is happy no one picked him here.
yeah, I was happy. No, I'm just thinking of my next pick, so I'll take some time to decide. Tanking, yeah, tanking is always an issue, and of course OKC, that's always an issue. But
But
I
just too
hope
good and too good to pass up, I guess. The stat set that
the
Giddy
stat set,
gives.
especially with Jokic, I think that's perfect, right? He rebounds, he passes, kind of a similar stat set with Jokic. We're gonna make Garland a little redundant, but really just solidifying the assist. I would not have to go for assist, but I'm trying to look at points because Garland doesn't score a lot, which is okay. So I think I need to have some help with the points when I'm thinking about another guy. Can help my points and
Maybe
could be
Ingram,
middle. Brandon Ingram, yes, that's another.
so that
I
you'll
don't like
have
Michael
more
Porter. I
assists.
don't like Porter at this too early. I think Maxi, Ingram, and McCollum even looks good here, but I have a lot of guards here, so I'm looking to help. You
I think
know,
Ingram to help in the rebounding, one of the
yeah,
players who can also
yeah,
rebound the ball.
yes.
I think
It's
that's a
either
good.
Middleton or Ingram, but I don't like. Yeah, it's either the two of them. I don't like Michael Porter Jr. I'm really tempted with Maxi, another player who's rising in my eyes because of how good he is in the preseason. He's becoming a top scorer of the team. Harden is a guy who's facilitating. Maxi is a guy who's scoring. A lot of people don't like him, finds him too high. For me, I don't think so. I think at the 60s, he's just perfect. He's another riser in my book. So right now, yeah, I think it's Ingram. Although Maxi is interesting.
I would think you don't have any Maxi. That's why you like Maxi.
No, I have
Ah, you
Maxi.
have.
I have a couple. I have a couple of Maxis. So there, I went with Ingram. Let's see.
Ben
And
Simmons has
then,
been rising.
yeah, I think
Um,
so.
in our FBI league in Fantrax, I think he was picked at around this mark 50, or I think even higher. I think the fourth round.
Yeah. And then who else? Jordan Poole and Christian Wood. two players who
Yeah.
are rising. Poole, of course, a lot of people feel like he's a bust at the 60s, and then of course the incident with Raymond will not help much. But again, he was also
He's
very,
played
very
well
good,
though.
played well. That's why I think. Plus the fact that the news about Klay Thompson isn't good. Klay Thompson might not play early in the season. That's the news that we have. So if Klay misses maybe 1 or 2 weeks time, then that makes Poole even better. I think he's a no-brainer anymore at the 60s if you can get him at a discount. Christian Wood is a sixth man, but as a sixth man, he's been dominating also. So that's good for Christian Wood in this range. Now fallers, of course, we saw Tobias again.
No, you
Not
talked
much.
about Middleton. Middleton's one of those guys.
Yeah.
Zach Levine is another guy who has fallen a bit. Both those guys are pretty much on the same boat. They're usually picked close to each other at this point. I think McCollum, at least from the rank perspective, has fallen a bit. But
Yes. 60 is low. 60 is very low.
yeah, so I think that's another guy who not many wants. I'm not sure if they don't like him or he's just not a manager favorite. He's gonna start at the point guard, so that's going to be interesting. His
Yes.
assist could be boosted here.
Another faller is the guy that picked before him, 59. I'm not falling in the ADPs. He's still going over crazy high, Sengun, but faller in the sense that he's struggling. In the
Yeah,
preseason, he has not shown much. And if you look at the depth chart of Houston, they have 5 centers. They have Boban, they have Favors, they have Garuba, they have Bruno Fernando, and they have Sengun. So I don't know why, but I have a sense that picking him top 60 is without him showing anything yet is a little crazy. People have went overboard with the hype. Um, I
actually, I
think
think this year has been the opposite of what happened last year. He's been picked
yeah.
high, but I think the the chatter or the hype around him hasn't been there really.
The guy I would prefer over him at this point is sitting there, Wendell Carter Jr. He's the guy
Yeah,
who's played very well
I told
in
you.
the regular season. Regular season in the preseason. Bamba has been clearly the backup, and I think the rotation has kind of shaked out a little bit. That we saw what will happen. It's been Wagner, Banquero, and Wendell Carter. Isaac will not be ready for the start of the season, so we can remove that first out of the equation. Okiki and Bamba are the players off the bench, and Bol, though they're playing him at small forward, power forward. So those are the guys. Wendell gets starters minutes. He's
Yeah,
gonna start clearly. It's not a timeshare with Bamba. So yeah, I prefer him over Sengun at this point. He's rising, Sengun's falling in my book. Again, we're not saying it's the ADP or the ranks. We don't
yeah,
really, this is our own opinions based on what we have been seeing in the preseason. Of course, preseason is preseason. It's not really the regular season, but we can see some trends there. Some players were playing very well. The rotation, the minutes, how they're being played. So it's good to also observe those things.
yeah. We talked about Middleton picked 64th. I think this is the lowest I've seen Middleton get picked.
Yeah, and I may come to regret picking Ingram over Middleton. It should, looking back, it probably is better to pick Middleton than Ingram. He's a better fantasy player than Ingram. So if I was just more patient, I could have, just waited him out for 1 or 2 weeks. Now Oliver, the guy who picked him, 64th, that's crazy value. That's really
Yeah.
good. That's really good value.
No, it's also interesting because Oliver is probably one of the guys that do not have a center yet.
Yeah. But
Well, I think Vibes also, well, he has Embiid, so yeah. Oliver's the only guy that does not have a center. The next
okay,
tier centers are the one you talked about, Wendell
Wendell,
Carter, Al Horford,
Ford.
Jakob, Pertl.
Jakob has been picked, I think.
Jakob has been picked. Oh
Yeah,
Jakob was picked.
Jakob is going high right now. He's another player who's rising. Although he's not been exactly, lighting it up in preseason, but he's rising. The way I see it, his role is rock solid in San Antonio. People are catching up to the fact that they can get rebounds and blocks
Yeah,
this part of the draft, and they're going after him. Uh, in this part of the draft, also players who are falling are Banquero and Brandon Clark.
yeah,
I think people have seen Banquero's fantasy game, stat set in actual competition. It's been, just okay, and picking him 70s, too high. For Brandon Clark, I mean, Santi Aldama
yeah.
has
That's
taken all the
the
thunder.
I, yeah. That's the reason why I think Brandon Clark would come off the bench. I mean, initially we expected him to start
To start. Yeah,
for Jaren Jackson, but I think Memphis is inclined on starting Santi
Santi, yes,
Aldama
yes.
and then have Brandon Clark come off the bench. That doesn't mean that Brandon Clark will not be fantasy relevant. He would still be fantasy relevant coming off the bench because that has been his role ever since, right? And he's been good being the sixth man. So I think but like you said, he's gonna drop a bit. He's gonna fall a bit, but still, he's gonna be fantasy relevant. Uh,
Yeah. He's gonna be fantasy relevant, but picking him at the 70s might not be a good situation right now, given the role. Even before the preseason and the training camp, people have already been speculating who they will start power forward, because a lot of people do not believe that they will start Brandon Clark. So they've mentioned rookies like Jake LaRavia, and other players, but it turned out to be Santi Aldama.
another riser, another rookie who's rising is Jaden Ivy.
Yeah.
He's gonna start alongside Cade. So went from not being drafted during the before the preseason to now moving into that 10th, 11th, 12th round range.
I yeah, I think that's still high. I do believe he should be drafted at the last two rounds. That's where I want to
Yeah,
pick him.
10th is a
And
little too high already. I think. Yeah,
yeah, it's a little high. But no, the last two rounds for me is okay because you're just rolling the dice. But anything higher there is high, because Ivy, you can see the highlights. It's good, athletic, and everything, but still turnovers, shooting, same thing, same old thing that we talked about during the draft process,
do you think
showing up.
this guy could end up being the next Killian Hayes?
No, he's better than Killian Hayes.
All
He's better
right.
than he'll
Well,
be
at least that's good.
in
Good to
in
know.
in the real basketball setting, not in fantasy setting. He's gonna be fine because he's perfect with Cade. Ja Morant took time. Ja Morant took time to be a fantasy relevant player, but even before he was a top 50 fantasy player, he was already a star in the eyes of many people.
Yeah.
Right. So I think Ivy is the same thing. His stardom will happen first before his relevance in fantasy catches up. Yeah, that's what I see with Ivy.
Since we're on Detroit, Marvin Bagley went down with an injury
Yes.
today, and it did not look good. So that I think there were lots of Jalen Duren pickups in the way from the waiver this morning. Um, a speculative ad there. Um, Isaiah Stewart could get a little boost uh, as he won't need to look over his shoulders now if Marvin Bagley misses some time.
Yeah. Well, what happens would be Isaiah will start, Duren will come off the bench. Um and then Bojan and Livers probably will get the 4 position. I think Isaiah Livers is a underrated beneficiary of Bagley's injury and
Yeah.
Olenek leaving. Not a lot of people might know Livers, but he's a 3-point specialist, 3-point scorer.
Has he
who
played the
actually not
preseason?
affected
He
it.
didn't play today.
Didn't play today. That's why I said he's not been talked about a lot. But this guy can steal, can block, and make threes. This guy is actually one of the better fantasy players there in Detroit. So if Bagley's injury turns out to be a season ender, that will open some minutes at the power forward all of a sudden. When we talked about the depth chart of Detroit, we were saying it's too deep too deep to everything. But now things have just opened up. And when we talked about Detroit, I already said I love Turen, and I'd pick him up in all my leagues if I can. But when I was about to pick him up, I was writing the write ups and everything, and when I was thinking, oh, I have to pick him up, I was too late. Majority of the people already picked him up, so
Yeah.
it's okay. That's how it is.
That's how it is. If it's the FBW leagues, we're not really gonna be fast in picking up players because we've
Yeah,
got so many of them.
so many leagues. Yeah, so many
This is
teams.
where we use the show availability feature in Yahoo.
Yes,
That's how I
yes.
use it if I want to pick him up in different leagues. So
Another
yeah. Yeah, go
another
ahead.
player who's falling is Colin Sexton. Colin Sexton. It turns out Utah will probably be using him as the backup point guard. So
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't think that will last, but that's not good to start the season. Not we expected, Conley and Clarkson to be out of Utah. They're going to start the season in Utah and starting probably. So that's bad for Sexton.
And since we're at Utah, Walker Kessler played really well today. I'm expecting him to move up from here on out. He hasn't been consistently drafted, or at least he's being picked in that last couple of rounds, where I think he should still be picked there. I don't think you should pick him higher, but I expect him to move higher. I mean, some managers might pick him in the 10th round now. Jamal Murray is one guy that's really mysterious. Despite all the hype from pretty much every fantasy analyst, uh, he hasn't really moved.
He's in the 80s. That's where he is still. He's still in the 80s. And I think that's just right. Right. Okay, it's my turn. I'm picking the guy that you want to have, Keegan Murray. I know you want to have one Keegan Murray in your.
Have you had one? Have you had one? No.
Not yet. This will be my
No,
first.
don't pick him just because I want him.
No,
because I'm not gonna manage.
no. I do like Keegan Murray, and I'm looking for points here. I'm looking for some 3-pointers, and I think he's gonna be a very good fantasy player this year. I agree with you 100%. I haven't gotten him because my positions has always been 10th, 11th, 12th, and somehow it just doesn't
Doesn't get you. You won't
get to
get
me.
it. Yeah,
Yes, you won't
unless you
unless I reach very high. This might be a reach. 84, 85 might be a reach, but I think
not too high, not too high though. Not
yeah,
too
but
high.
for what I need, maybe Keegan is okay. I need some threes. I need some points. So I think he's fine. So Keegan is one. Actually, I'm tempted to go Tobias at this point. It's very very cheap already. I wanted to get PJ, but he was already picked. I'm
But you have
thinking
four for
Horford
in your
too.
queue.
Yeah, I have Horford there. So if I was looking Gary Trent. So I guess Trent was picked up already. We didn't see him.
Yeah,
He was
by
picked.
Reginald.
Yeah. So I wanted him.
So I think you go get your pick first, and then I was about to talk about Reginald's strategy just because you mentioned he looks like he's going to on a punt free throw, but doesn't look like it now. Picking 3 straight guards. Uh, so I don't think he's gonna hard punt on the free throws. He might have just like Evan Mobley and thought about just reaching him.
Maybe, yeah. Who was his first pick?
Karl Anthony Towns.
Karl Anthony Towns. So yeah, he went big first, and then maybe he's going going young ones.
If there's
I thought
assist,
about
I think he's gonna punt assist here.
yeah. I thought about KPJ. I thought hard about KPJ also. I was thinking to pick
He
him up.
played well. He played well.
Yeah, KPJ, Jalen Green, they're playing well. They've been dominating and of course, we can talk about him later, but we're already at the 80s. Tari Eason, I've, I've been high on him very early, and I think he's rising. It's clear. I don't think anybody will disagree. You talked about Walker Kessler. I agree with that. Duren, I agree with that. Eason, um, getting a lot of questions about him, and as I said, his value will really, really depend on who's going to be healthy to start the season. Tate injured his knee today. I don't know if it's serious. It doesn't look like it's serious. But if he doesn't, he's going to miss time, then that's good for Tate, for Eason, because, Eric Gordon's been on and off the roster also during the preseason. So
And
there's
we know
that.
Eric
There's
Gordon's
JJ
gonna get
Martin.
injured at some point.
He's going to get injured at some point, but if you still have to wait for that to happen. So
But I just feel he's gonna play. They're gonna give him the chance to play, I think.
Gordon,
No, Eason. Tari
yeah,
Eason.
yeah. But depends
I
on
think
how much
I think
minutes.
earlier than what many people expect.
Mm, Earlier than what people expect. Possibly. I mean, he looks very good. He looks very good. He's pro ready. It's been pro ready. I
Yeah.
really don't understand how he fell that far, but in the draft, but good for Houston to be able to get him. So he's one. Maybe we're in the rookies area now. Walker Kessler, you said he played well. I watched him though before today. He's very raw, man. He's very raw and a little clumsy. I know he blocks well. He has good block rate. But if that doesn't happen, I really don't know if he's gonna be giving you anything else. The rebounding,
Rebounding?
yeah, a little. Yeah, there will be rebounding, but man, if he doesn't block, it's gonna be tough to get value if you pick him, 120s, which a lot of managers did early in the draft process. Though right now, I see more people picking him in the last round pick, so that's okay. That's okay. He has shown some potential.
Do you see
And
some
then
Jakob in him?
yes, I see some Yako, but very raw. Uh the potential is there, definitely, but he needs a lot more experience. He needs a lot more reps. And I don't really know that Utah will give him 35, 30 minutes, even 28 minutes with
No,
Olynyk
35,
there.
30. No, not 35,
Yeah.
30 minutes.
No, I mean, if you want Walker to get, give you good value, it should be at least 25 minutes. Even that, I really doubt that will happen because Kelly has been, featured also. And as I said, they like Kelly. They like Kelly Olynyk. So
Kelly
that's
is the
that.
one that should be moving up the ranks. I mean,
Yes,
yeah, moving
Kelly's
up
moving.
the board. So I mean, I think he should be picked over some of the guys here, even Mo Bamba, Russell.
Yeah. If you talk about some of the guys that in this, maybe Kuzma, maybe Barnes, definitely I would pick him over Barnes. Caruso, I would pick him over Caruso. Caruso's dropping. Another faller is Caruso because
Ayo's gonna
so far it's
start.
been off
They
the bench.
they they
Yeah.
said that already. He's gonna start. Which I kind of expected that he's gonna start, but we don't know is how good would Ayo be.
He's gonna be good for assists. That's it. That's what I see.
Yeah.
I don't see other things that he could be really helping you with. No. There. Who else are rising? Vassell was picked a while ago. He's another player who played well today. The steals have not been there. The efficiency problems that we kind of predicted really showed up because he's getting more usage, but he's been okay. He's been good. So people are starting to warm up to him. I have one Vassell, I think one or two, but I've gotten 4 or 5 trade offers all for him.
I also have
So
gotten a few Vassell trade offers.
yes, so
this
people
year.
are they like him. They like Vassell.
Yeah. So Tobias has been falling.
That's a good value. 94. Very good value. I think that's perfect
now
for
I'm a,
Tobias.
now you put in the queue about you put in Trey Jones in the queue. I'm a little bit worried about Trey Jones now. He hasn't really shown much during the preseason. Now, here's my thinking. He could end up being just like Monte Morris. Um, I just feel like that might just be the. I'm afraid that might be the peak of Trey Jones.
He is Monte Morris. Trey Jones is just picked here 96. He can't shoot. Doesn't score a lot. No,
Yeah.
he can't shoot. Doesn't shoot very well. 29 3 points made. That gives you an idea already. So that's a big problem in fantasy. But having said that, he's gonna be better than Monte because he's one he's younger. Second, he has doesn't have any usage monsters in his team. So he will have his share of chances to create offense, to facilitate offense for San Antonio. So I think he's in the mold of Monte, but he's gonna be better than Monte. He's
Uh,
gonna be better.
he's also being picked a little higher than what we really like. We really like him outside the 100, but he's being picked at the 90s. I think just because, like we said, the scarcity in assists, there's really not much players there who can provide assists already late in the draft. So I think that's the reason why he's being picked a little higher. But the preseason showing he's given,
He
I'm a little worried about that.
he was good. He was good today though. He was not bad today. So that's good. That's reassuring. And the one thing going for him is Josh Primo, the one guy that can destroy all his value. I know Primo is not a point guard, but the Spurs damn sure want to make him a point guard, and even if he's not good at it, they would be okay with that as long as they're developing him. He's injured. Primo is injured, so there that helps Trey Jones solidify that starting point guard position.
Yeah. Robert Williams picked 99. So Mark's which team is this? Mark's bold team picked three. Well, he's picked pretty much every center out there.
Yeah, Isaiah Jackson though went after Robert Williams, so that's high. That's kind of high for Isaiah Jackson. That's a surprise.
Yeah. But again, I think this might be a situation wherein he feels like he won't be able to get him already,
Yeah,
and he just reached for it. Does Isaiah Jackson have a center eligibility? He does,
Isaiah
right?
Jackson, yes, he has a center
So
eligibility,
I
and
think that's another factor there. The guy before him has picked pretty much all the solid centers, and there might not be much left, and he only had Brook Lopez. So I think that's another reason why he might have picked Isaiah Jackson there.
that's possible. That's possible.
Hayward's been picked 101, higher than the
Higher,
usual
yeah.
drafts that we've seen.
JJJ going 103. I don't know if the news that he's been running already, doing some drills already, had any effect on this pick at 103, because that's higher also than where we've been seeing he usually goes at 120s.
Yeah.
So I think people like the good news about him. So that helps. Another player rising, I see him here, John Wall. John
Yeah.
Wall. He had a good first game.
Is that starting position still up for grabs?
It they say it's up for grabs, but I think it's Reggie Jackson's, and John Wall will be fine with it. Jackson's just didn't play today or yesterday. That's why Wall started.
So yeah, I think that's one reason
Uh,
why Wall is moving up is because we saw him play and he looked good. Uh, but he could miss a lot of games too. Load management would be real for John Wall.
Yeah. Getting to my pick, and I am really in a bind here. I don't have anybody I kind of like at this range. Well, again, if Herb falls to me, I'll pick him maybe, and maybe I don't know. Who was picked? Simon Stewart. Stewart. That I think because of the Bagley injury, you'll not see Stewart last long anymore in the draft queue. Brandon Clark, as we said, falling.
Yeah.
Still
Yeah.
here. 109, 110.
And
Zubac
I
went
think
ahead of him.
even at this range, lots of managers will not be comfortable picking him up at this range.
Possibly. Yeah. He doesn't score, so it's
He doesn't score. He doesn't score much. He scores, but not much. His field goal is good. I think that's the one thing that you would like. He's more of a roto guy. With not. It's just the free throws that are not as good, but overall he contributes a little bit of everything for you.
yeah. There we see Ivy here. Again, Suggs also, by the way, we know, I don't know if we talked about him, also injured. So coming to my pick, again, the ones left I don't really like, don't really need either. I need some threes, scoring more. But if Herb is there, yeah, go. I'll go for Herb for again. Somehow he just
Herb
falls to
is
me all the time.
Herb is well.
Well,
Got picked for you. So
okay, so
case of us talking about a player that gets picked before our pick.
I'm gonna go the Anthony Melton, who I love him. I like him. He has played some backup small forward, by the way, so I think that's gonna help him. I also, and then actually looking at, you don't like anybody here. It's tough. Bojan.
Bojan has been falling. Um, an afterthought actually, but is Coach Sandy and I talked about him that he could be, where he is being picked, he could end up being a steal because there's really not many scorers there in Detroit.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. There's not much players to score, but it's either Bojan or Cam Johnson. They're very similar players. But I just like Cam Johnson's better, field goal.
All around. I think he can
Yeah,
contribute a
yeah.
little more on the other categories.
Reportedly, Crowder is, Atlanta is a team that's very high on Crowder, and they're negotiating stuff. So I'm just thinking, who will go back to Phoenix if Crowder gets traded? I don't see anybody that could probably unseat Cameron Johnson. So I think he
Yeah.
might be the starter going to the season. Another player here is Highland, but Cam works for me, so I'd probably go Cam at this point.
Talking about
I like
Bojan again, he is also that guy in the late part of the draft that can provide you those scoring that not many guys there in that range could give you, right? If you're looking for a guy who might end up averaging 20, 19 points per game, he is that guy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Bojan is that guy. Bones is another player that you can consider there. For those stats, but Bojan is a bigger guy, so helps you. Looking at the others here, I'm putting some late round players here that we can talk about to wrap things up. Isaiah Hartenstein, I like this guy also. I think not being talked about by a lot of people, and I think he's somebody you can consider. And then Will Barton here. Will Barton. Will Barton. Corey Kispert is injured, and they said they would play Will Barton at small forward and he's gonna get majority of the small forward minutes. So I think that's good value. I think he's gonna go 130s, 140s. He can do worse. Another player there is Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre has been starting for Charlotte when he's playing. He rested
Yeah.
today again, and he's doing well scoring wise. We know he's not gonna do anything else, but at this point of the draft, it's hard to find someone who does a lot of things.
Plus, he gets a
So
little boost without Lamelo. He will
yes,
probably stay longer there in the starting lineup without Lamelo. And then Rozier moves to the point guard position. He moves to the shooting guard, or Hayward moves to the shooting guard. So I think he is a good option as well if you need some threes and maybe
okay.
some steals.
And then next is Kevin Herter. He already is the starting shooting guard of Sacramento. It's not Malik Monk. And Herter, given the minutes with Trey, he was top, 180 to 100 only. But I think he fits better in Sacramento. He'll get the minutes. In Atlanta, yeah, he starts with Trey, but they were deep. They had Bogdan and all those other stuff. I think here in Sacramento, he should, get more chances. So
Yeah.
Herter is another guy that I like as another late round pick. And then, although this guy got injured, Mason Plumlee, I picked him in the invitationals. I've been picking him up in a lot of leagues. He's a starting center. Steve Clifford will play him. We know that he likes veterans.
So it's gonna be him and PJ Washington, right? Starting.
I think so. Yes, Ubray, Rozier. I don't know who's the last guy. Could be Dennis Smith Jr. because Lamelo's injured, or Book Knight. I think it's Dennis Smith Jr. I picked up Dennis Smith Jr. in some leagues also. I was able to pick him up for at least for the first few weeks. It could give you steals and some other defensive stats, some assists maybe. Of course, Dennis Smith Jr. He's not gonna be good percentages and everything. You still have to be careful with that. But if he gets an opportunity, why not, right?
Yeah. Dorian
Then
Finney-Smith gets picked
yeah, your
190.
favorite.
One of my favorite picks.
That's
James
okay already at
Wiseman. James
100.
Wiseman also gets picked 121st. So another player who has been rising as well, just because of his preseason performance, and maybe people think about Draymond being a little more uncertain. Although
Yeah.
Draymond
Well,
will not be
Whiteman,
suspended.
yeah. Weissman is a riser, that's correct. Today he played very well again. And then Ben Mathurin, Indiana. He's been
Yeah.
scoring very well off the bench in Indiana. So he's another player, another rookie who's rising also. Another late round possibility for you guys. Of course,
So
Santi. Santi been picked?
no, not yet.
Not yet. So Santi Aldama, the favorite of a lot of people right now. Uh, the new apple of the eye of our hype managers,
Yeah.
Santi Aldama. And Jeremy has some of Santi Aldama, I know. He's
Yeah.
picked him.
I mean, I picked him what? I think 11th round, somewhere there.
If you pick him in the last 2 rounds, you'll be fine. You know his value will not last forever, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be dropped sometime. So Santi Walker, I just put him in a queue. Walker Kessler, we've talked about him. Trey Murphy looked very good. 7 3-pointers the other night. So if his shots fall, he's another player that you can consider. And a lot of people have been asking about the power forward position in Miami. This guy Jamal Cain.
Uh-huh.
He's been good. And they've asked me what I think about him. Will he get minutes? Nikola Jovic also has been getting minutes. And of course, Highsmith. I don't know the first name of Highsmith. I really don't. Haywood Highsmith. I don't know who this, because Caleb is injured. I don't know who among these guys will win out in the end. But all I can say is, all of those are. I know Jamal Cain. I know that Spo loves him. Jovic is, I've seen him in Europe. He's good. So any of these guys have upside, but I don't think if you're in 12, 14 team leagues, you should be thinking of adding them at this point.
Yeah.
So that's an answer to the questions about the two of them.
So just it's a wait and see thing.
Yeah.
For those guys.
Surprisingly, Bojan is still here.
Like I said, he's not a favorite, I guess.
Yeah, and Jaden McDaniels, another player who I'm kind of surprised it's lasted this long in a draft like this. People are usually higher on people who can steal, can give stocks, and then also make 3-pointers. So that's surprising as
if
well.
you look at it, Malcolm Brogdon got picked already.
Yeah.
Covington even got picked before Jaden, which is not really usual.
Yeah. So
Yes. Let me see. Yeah, I mean Dorian Finney-Smith is another guy got picked before Jaden, which is not usual as well. We are at the 10th round. We are at the 10th round, so
we are the 10th round right now.
so Tari Eason gets picked 130th.
Yeah.
High? Too high?
Round 10, up to you to pay off. I'm generally I generally want him round 11, but yeah, it's okay. 130s at this point.
I think if the upside is what we've seen, I think this is okay. 10th round is okay.
It's okay.
But like I said, he could end up being the Sengun of last year. Last year's Sengun.
It's just seeing Brandon Clark still here at 140. It's a little surprising. I guess he's really more of a roto guy though.
Yeah. And he's not exciting.
That's true. The question here is, will Aldama get picked ahead of Clark? That's something interesting to see. Right now, given my queue, I wanted Olinik, he was picked up. I wanted Bojan, he was picked up. Eason was in my queue, he picked up. So a lot of Bones, I was eyeing Bones, was also picked up. Yeah, tough. I'm probably gonna go Duarte. If he's still there. I think he's gonna have a solid role. I think he's gonna be fine in Indiana. And then was Jaden picked up already? Not yet. So Jaden is another guy I'm looking at. Duarte and Jaden maybe. Some help there. Conley's interesting. I mean, he's still there at 140.
Who? Mike Conley?
Yeah. Although, of course, he's gonna rest all the back-to-backs.
But he's gonna start, right?
Yeah, he's a starter. He's a starter. For now, of course, if you're afraid of tanking, he's probably gonna be rested earlier than the others.
Yeah. And he probably won't play the back-to-backs.
Gafford, picked 136. Gafford versus Drummond is a very interesting, and versus Duren. Gafford, Drummond, Duren. Who among these late round bigs better? I'd say if I own Porzingis, I'll go Gafford. But if not, I'll probably go all homer.
Drummond shooting threes.
Yes. Will that happen? I don't know. Drummond is Drummond. You know what you'll get with Drummond. So, probably go with Drummond first at this point. But Duren is very near, very close. I have that dilemma in one league. I have Drummond already. I have even Gafford, I think, there. I don't know what happened in that draft. And Duren is in the free agency. So I was thinking, should I drop any of these guys for Duren, and I didn't because Kristaps is in my team also, so I'm not gonna drop Gafford. So just let Duren slide.
Yeah. Duren is also a speculative add there if ever. I mean, we don't know what will happen there in the
Yes,
Detroit rotation. Plus, he's a rookie. So yeah, Brandon Clark gets picked now by Vibes.
137.
That's a
137. Wow.
solid value already.
Solid. That's very good pick. Of course, probably Jaden will be picked before. Let me see.
Let's see. Might slide as well. I mean, Jaden, I think the reason why many managers are afraid of picking him is because we're talking about Jaden McDaniels in of Minnesota. It's because
Yeah.
he's in Minnesota. He's the fifth guy there, fifth option. Behind Gobert, behind D'Lo, and Anthony Edwards and Carl Anthony Towns. So,
At this point, if I like Santi Aldama, I have to pick him because
well,
I
yeah,
have the last pick of this draft. Right.
he won't get to
But
you in the last pick.
Ubray was picked. Clarkson was picked. So Jaden is here. Duarte is here. Steven Adams, who I'm looking at this year. Santi Aldama is here.
So at least you have
Hmm.
options.
And that I have options.
Sometimes I know if that's good or not.
Exactly. Uh,
What do you
tough.
need though?
What do I
Steals
need?
maybe?
Yeah, probably steals because
You don't have any really, other
I only
than
have Melton there. Yeah. So I really like Jaden. So I think I picked Jaden first. Question is who I pick after Jaden. 3 points is not good. My points really bad. So that's a problem. I'm counting blocks, so that's okay. Uh, that helped my steals. So now I
yeah.
need to see some help with my points. Need some more help with points, and I believe Benedict Maturin would be. I think Duarte is my original plan, or Santi. Duarte or Santi at this point. Hmm.
I don't like Duarte. I think he just gives you points though. Nothing else. I mean, at least Santi gives you some rebounds.
That's true.
And
Mm,
I but I have I really don't like Duarte's game. I've had him before last season and I just realized this guy is just all about points. And he did help that
but I really
play
like.
now.
I think I should go Duarte. Sorry, but
Yeah, good. It's yours. I'm just saying.
I just go with the.
But Duarte could be the safer choice there between him and Santi because like you said, Santi might not see the be in that starting five for until the end of the season. So
Yeah.
at least
Actually,
Duarte is
Adams
safe.
was also solid. Adams was also a solid pick. If you wanted Adams, it's also solid.
Who's
I
going under the radar as well. I mean, not a popular pick.
Yes, I get what you were saying about Duarte. I get his points oriented, kind of points oriented. I just feel like in the long term, on a complete season, I think he might have a better chance of returning value here. And I think he has a good role with Indiana this season. With his partnership with Halley,
Yeah.
I think will be there. Right now, last pick. Let's see, Hartenstein. That's solid.
Any guy there
Here,
in your queue could be okay.
Highsmith here is I just put him here because we talked about him. He's not really in my queue. So yeah, I'm not picking Mathurin now that I have Duarte, so that's out. I could go Ivy. Just see what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with any starter. I mean, Herter, you could go Herter, a safer pick.
Herter also.
Ivy though
Herter.
could be, more exciting pick. It's usually a choice between do I get the more exciting player or the boring but safer pick, and that's Herter and Ivy.
Duran is still here.
Yeah, another exciting potential pick over the Mason Plumlee, who's you know what you're gonna get.
It's Plumlee here. Plumlee's still here, yeah. One thing I like about Plumlee, I know, he was my player for
Triple double machine.
for a couple of seasons already, and even in Roto, which is weird because remember his free throw sucks, and you usually don't get him in Roto. And I got him because my Roto league has 2 centers spot and very deep. He was solid. He was solid. He will be solid for a good chunk of the season before he falls off.
Yeah,
He falls
I
off.
was
He
just
just
about to say he's
fades
gonna be
away.
solid, and then but it doesn't stay that way throughout the season.
Yeah, he falls off. But
It falls off, and then the usage gets smaller as the season goes along. And
and I
then
have a feeling Charlotte will be out of contention very early. They'll be out of contention very early. So I feel like Plumlee the last months, maybe 1 month of the season, he's not probably
could
gonna get
play.
minutes. Even if Clifford wants to, they'd probably want to tank more and play Nick Richards and Mark Williams. I don't know why Nick Richards is ahead of Mark Williams, but well,
Younger, I guess.
I mean, no, Nick Richards is older. Mark Williams is their draft pick from Duke. Oh, I think Nick Richards. Oh, Nick Richards from Kansas, I think, or Kentucky, not UNC. But Mark Williams would have been, Walker Kessler like if he's gonna get minutes.
Everyone's gonna tank for next year. Pretty much. I mean, I don't see
A lot.
a lot of teams will tank for next year.
Okay. Question: should we care about that during draft season? For me, early in the draft, players like before SGA and maybe some of the other. Yeah, I mean, not Kiddie. I don't really believe they will rest Kiddie. SGA maybe, but later on in the draft, mid round, maybe later 100 lower. I don't really care anymore because it's too far ahead. Try to get the best team possible, best value possible, best player possible. There's a lot of season to play.
And like I said, we don't really know what's gonna happen. I know teams are gonna tank, but to what extent will they tank? We don't know that. Plus, even if you sidestep these players, and then the one you pick over these players gets injured anyway, you don't know, right? I mean, you sidestep, let's say, LaMelo, because you fear that they will tank, and then the guy you pick gets injured. Then what happens now? Right? So we don't know.
That's one thing that they're taking against Halliburton actually, or other Indiana players, because they're pretty sure he's gonna be an SGA. They will rest him at the end of the season, which is possible.
Yeah,
but he did not last season, so right? Who knows?
Yeah. Right? I mean, what for the? It's really hard, right? A situation we're in, something like what happened to Dame last year happens. Who knows? I mean, no one really knows. No one really saw it coming, right? But it happened, and it's not even tanking. We're not even talking about Portland tanking. It's more of, it's just an injury that was, unfortunate event for lots of match. So I think, yeah, we might give it, some weight when we draft, but really more for me, I really more focus on what they can give my team, and then maybe worry about the tanking later on, or see what happens.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's also how I see it. Although the only counter to that for me this season is because of Wembayama, how good
Yeah,
he is,
yeah.
and that might make it extra super special tanking
That
sauce.
this would probably make I don't think any tanking season will be as exciting as this one.
Yes,
This is the part we're in. Tanking might be more exciting than who gets into the playoffs.
and that is already also made the NBA release a statement
Because
about,
they know, right?
hey, try to win. I know this guy's good, but can you guys try to win?
And I know,
So they
only one team will get Victor, but Scoot looks good as well. So, even if you don't get him, you don't get Victor, at least the consolation prize isn't as bad.
yeah, Duran was picked up. That's bad. Duran was
You were eyeing
one
him.
guy. Yeah, I was eyeing him. I was thinking he's the guy who's gonna fall, possibly fall
Fournier
to me.
gets picked. Fournier gets picked by
Yeah.
Reginald. Very rare does he get picked, even as a
Yes,
starter.
yes, it's very rare. Talking about OKC, by the way, I have Kiddie here. Poku was picked earlier. He's another player who's starting at power forward. I don't know if that's gonna continue, but if not, it continues. I think there's some upside there, I guess, right? So yeah, Poku's not bad.
All right, we're rounding out the last few
And five
picks.
picks before we call it a night.
Yeah. This
Given
is.
I only have four players in my queue.
I don't think anyone will pick those.
Yeah.
Maybe one or two.
When was Santi picked? Oh, Santi was picked 158. I thought he was still here. I was just dreaming, I guess.
Norm Powell
Uh,
surprisingly gets picked on the 12th round.
yeah. He's not had the greatest preseason. Bogdan is here. I know he's
Bogdan
injured, but
is a popular last round pick.
yeah. I mean, that's pretty solid. KCP is here also. Kendrick Nunn. There. Kendrick Nunn who's
Kendrick
been
Nunn should be part of the riser. We forgot to
yes.
mention him.
Yes. Kendrick
Especially if
Nunn.
they start him.
Yes.
He's really played well during the preseason.
Who just got picked, Jalen Williams from OKC. Without Bogdan was picked. Without Trey Man, Jalen Williams really, really good. I don't have much
Treyman got
anymore.
injured.
Who?
Treyman.
No.
He just
He's
didn't
not
play.
really. Just didn't play.
All right.
But actually, he played today. But Jalen Williams started at small forward also. I think so, or the other day. So I think he has played very well, and I've mentioned him also during our draft process. Someone who looks very, very good. So right now it's my turn. I only have Plumlee here. They see keep on looking back and forth, but you know, mm, not much. Reggie Jackson is here. Probably the guy who's taking the most time in the last pick. Whatever.
And it seems like everyone's waiting for it. No one left while you were picking. So Mason Plumlee completes this
Okay,
draft.
that's it.
This is actually the last of our. Let's see the feel good standings. You rank second in the feel good standings with Reginald being first. Reginald's also a roto guy, so let's see the where you stand in every category. So points is where you're probably gonna be punting, I guess. Rebound,
No, I think I'll try to improve. I'm not punting points. I will not punt points. Rebounds, assists, steals are solid. I'm punting blocks, but it looks good. My blocks
yeah.
somehow look good. But the points, yeah, that's a problem. I already knew that was gonna be a problem when I was doing the draft. I was seeing the players I picked. Garland was that's not a good scorer. He's not a good scorer. Giddy's
Yeah.
not. Ingram just so. So I would really hope that Keegan scores a lot for my points to improve. But I'll try. I'll try to see what I can do to improve the points department.
All right. So yeah, that's it, guys. This is the last of our head-to-head public leagues. Tomorrow we'll have the Champions League with Eric Ong, and then after that, the last draft would be the Roto League, which is on the 17th. Anyway, that's it, guys, for this draft session, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.